Several big stories broke in the past few days. The Cybercrime Prevention Act, for one, takes effect today, a widely opposed measure in the country. Candidates for the 2013 elections filed their certificates of candidacy this week. Let's get Malacanang's take on these and other stories. On the line, we have Secretary of the Presidential Communications Operations Office, Secretary Sonny Coloma. Secretary Coloma, good morning. Welcome to Daybreak.
Good morning, Jing.
Secretary Coloma, well, today the Cybercrime Prevention Act takes effect. There have been a lot of protests online. Several government websites have been hacked by Philippines Anonymous. What is Malacanang's stand today, the day that the act takes effect?
We are aware that many citizens and advocacy groups have expressed their protest or opposition or concern about certain provisions of the Anti-Cybercrime Law, and we respect their divergent views. There is a process that is ongoing in the Supreme Court to determine the constitutionality of the provisions that are being contested. And part of the mandate of my office is to generate and actively solicit feedback from our citizens so that government may be able to feel the public pulse and know how to respond to the people's sentiments. So we would like to encourage our people to continue expressing their views. They can be assured that under this administration, citizens' rights are secure. Citizens' rights will be upheld and protected regardless of the controversial provisions of the law that are now being disputed.
It's being called the e-cyber law or e-martial law, Secretary Coloma. They've been zeroing in on two provisions. One, the online libel provision, and two, the takedown provision. More and more of these are the 2 points of focus of those who are rallying against the Cybercrime Prevention Act. What do you think is in store in the future in terms of process? If this is the kind of feedback that you're getting, what can Malacanang do to help the process in terms of looking at these 2 points, libel and the takedown provision?
Well, as I said, Jing, we would like to assure our people that these provisions will be interpreted in a manner that will still seek to uphold the essential rights of our people. The Secretary of Justice Leila de Lima herself has emphasized that this is an administration that believes in the sanctity of human rights, and that as the interpreter of the law, rather as the executor of the law, she will ensure that it is applied judiciously. But be that as it may, there are citizens who continue to express their reservations about the provisions. So I believe there's really a process for introducing amendments for the law, as well as processes for ensuring that the implementing rules will not be discriminatory or will not inflict undue pain or harm among our people. So our stance here is that while the law has already taken effect, it is our duty to uphold it while being mindful that there are contentious issues, and we would like to, at all times, assure our people that this is a government that is on the side of people's rights and freedoms.
If the administration changes in 2016, and the sentiment of government and the agenda of government changes with that administrative change in 2016, do you think that it would be wise to put in safeguards today in terms of amendments to the law so it cannot be interpreted in any other way and can't be used against the population, the people?
I think what should really be happen now, Jing, is that we are consciously endeavoring to strengthen our democratic institutions. Putting the whole issue in context, we had an almost unregulated situation before the passage of this law. And this law is probably one of the first attempts to codify or to put into systematic form the regulations that will govern cyberspace. So I think we should focus on strengthening the institutions, and part of it would be to enact a just law, no? A law that will be that can endure, no? the test of time and will not be variably implemented depending on the administration of the day, no? And that is part of the strengthening of democratic institutions.
The Philippine Constitution of 1987, Section 4 says no law shall be passed abridging the freedom of expression. Isn't the Cybercrime Prevention Act going against this section of the Constitution, Secretary?
Well, that is a widely shared view for now, Jing, no? As we monitor the trending of public sentiment in the social media sites. And the only test is in the actual situation. You'll remember that after the Luneta hostage-taking incident, there was a clamor for government to clamp down or to impose disciplinary sanctions on media organizations and individuals that purportedly abetted or aggravated the situation, leading to the carnage that ensued. And President Aquino was very emphatic in saying that he believes that there should be no prior restraint on the exercise of freedom of expression. That was a particularly critical situation where the proof of was demonstrated. I believe this administration will pass all future challenges in terms of asserting its determination to uphold freedom of expression.
Secretary, on another issue, the DFA Secretary Albert Del Rosario is in the United States in front of the UN General Assembly. Where are we on this, and what is the intentions of Secretary Del Rosario at the UN General Assembly?
Well, we continue to state our case, no, in fora like the UN General Assembly with regard to the importance of asserting our sovereignty and in terms of promoting the concept of peaceful settlement of disputes in areas like the West Philippine Sea. This is a concern that involves many stakeholder nations and not just the Philippines. And that is why President Aquino has consistently maintained that there should be an ASEAN-centric solution because the most affected nations are the member states of ASEAN or the member economies of ASEAN, while the other major countries in terms of economic power are also significant users of the navigational areas, no, in our region, and hence they should also be similarly involved in ensuring that there will be continuing peace and stability in the area. So that is what Secretary Del Rosario is promoting in the United Nations General Assembly. The Philippines' adherence to the principles of international law and our call for multilateral international cooperation, hold the rule of law, in order to ensure peaceful settlement of disputes and continuing stability in our navigational waters.
Secretary, only two more questions. I know your time is very precious and you're very busy nowadays. Number one, October 10 is the last day for the effect of the warning of the U.S. Embassy. Secretary? Secretary?
Yes, go ahead, Jim.
Okay, Secretary, October 10 is the last day for the warning the U.S. Embassy put out for its citizens. Do we have any idea why this warning was put out in the first place?
They have not publicly disclosed, no, the metes and bounds or the parameters of their advisory. But I would imagine that there is close coordination between the embassy and local law enforcement and security authorities. But let me just say something on the media aspect of such advisories. No? I think in the past, President Aquino has pointed out that we are probably the only nation where the mass media seem to feature or to highlight advisories made by foreign embassies on their own nationals or citizens that are really of no immediate or direct concern to Filipinos themselves. I'm not referring specifically to this current advisory, but there have been previous advisories of foreign governments to their nationals here, mostly on the Mindanao situation, where the overall effect is to create an image of widespread instability or absence of peace and order in our land. So I think we should be circumspect in viewing these advisories. These are really meant for nationals of other countries and other governments, and I think we should just keep the situation on an even keel and try to not to fund further flames of speculation that might not be beneficial for all of us.
As a last question, Secretary, seems like both the Liberal Party and UNA are supportive of the President's administration and his direction in terms of governing this country. So whoever wins, the President is still on top of the situation. Is this the sense that we're getting from both parties?
Well, I think it is politically wise for any candidate or any party to feel the public pulse, and the public pulse is very clear. 70 to 75% approval rating for the President's performance, and as high as 80% trust rating. This is something that is at a record high level, and any politician or any political party will do well to take heed of the public sentiment. And we believe that this is beneficial for the entire country, because if there is a common ground upon which politicians of all stripes are meeting, and that common ground is the public good, then the people will be the ultimate beneficiaries.
Okay, Secretary, thank you very much for your time this morning.
Thank you, Jing.
Secretary Sonny Coloma, Presidential Communication Operations Office Secretary.